guys, so welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about my labour and delivery story. The kids have been sleeping for about an hour and a half now, so I've got an hour and a half to basically film this video, do a bit of breast expressing and tidy up a little bit, so my time is very limited. I know my hair is a mess. I try to fix it up for you guys a little bit, but it's very hard. So yeah, we're going to just talk about my labour and delivery story. I did ask you guys on Instagram if you wanted to see this video, and a lot of people said yes, so I thought I will do it. I'm just really like drained, but yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys in a future video about my postpartum body, how much weight I've lost. I've actually lost all my baby weight now, which is crazy. Yeah, today we're going to just focus on the labour and delivery, so I'm going to tell you guys all about that. If you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel down below. Just click the red button, and yeah, so they're just both having a quick nap, and then it'll be feeding time. They're not normally on this, by the way. That's just to like console them, then I make them flat. Okay, so my labour and delivery story. I was induced on the 15th of March, so I went in for an induction. The doctor advised that I have an induction because I was 37 weeks, and he said any longer will be a bit more dangerous, and I don't know, he was just saying that he advised that I had it that Saturday or that Tuesday. So he said if you come in on, it's Friday to get induced, and then anything could happen, I could give birth on Saturday or Sunday. Please sleep. Saturday or Sunday. So I went in on the 16th. I got myself a Starbucks, a little latte to keep myself awake and just to get ready and give myself some energy. I got myself a sandwich from Pret, because apparently once the whole thing starts, you're not allowed to eat. So I had a Starbucks and I had a sandwich. So when I was ready, or when something was ready or something, they put a pessary inside of my vagina, and that felt really uncomfortable. And then that was to start the contractions and start me, you know, to help me start dilating or whatever. And so when I had the pessary in, my friend Demi came to visit me quickly. We just walked around. I really needed to go to the toilet, but I didn't want to like piss out the pessary. I wanted everything to work properly, so I just held it in. So I kept the pessary in for like 2.5 hours, and then I needed to go to the toilet, and I went to the toilet, and I think maybe about 2 hours later after the pessary, bear in mind the pessary didn't actually go in until 2 hours after I was in hospital. I can't remember what happened before then. The midwife was just talking to me about stuff and telling me the procedure, and I had to put on these socks that would help my still got baby brain, guys, because these two keep me up all night. I can't remember, but I'll leave it here what it helps with. It helps with swelling, basically, I think. I can't remember. And then after about 3 hours, 4 hours, I think the pessary started working, so I started getting contractions and started contracting, and then it wasn't that painful. I was screaming because I'm just very dramatic and I've got a very low pain threshold, so I was screaming and like, you know, shouting like ah, 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 because I'm dramatic. But I tell you this, it feels like a really bad period. That's what it feels like, and I get really bad periods, and that's how I used to act when I was in the house. I used to like wail in the house and be like, oh my god, and run my bath, and I used to demand to the teachers at school that I'm going home for being in so much pain. So it basically felt like, sorry, I feel like my hair looks really messy. It basically feels like a really bad period pain and cramp. And so I was wailing, and then she had to check if I was dilated, so she put the little thing into me to check if I was dilated, and oh my god, I was wailing like a hyena. It hurt so much. That was the most painful thing ever. And my partner was there, my mum was there, and I just told him, can you please leave the room, because my legs were like wide open and I just felt so uncomfortable. So I just told him to leave the room, and I was screaming the place down, and she was like, you're actually 4 centimeters dilated, I think she said. And I was like, okay, wow. She goes, so we're gonna take you into some other room. I can't remember. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the whole day is kind of a blur to me. Like, if my partner was here and he was willing to be on YouTube, he'd be able to explain it a lot better, because he saw everything. I was just in a daze. So I was moved to this other room, a labour room, I guess. This is where I'm gonna start having my labour or whatever. So I moved into this room. I was having contractions a lot, and then they said, you want the epidural? And then I was like, yeah, I want the epidural, because I always hear how the epidural really relieves pain. and so I had the epidural put in, and I was wailing because I don't like injections, and I feel like they put like 6 injections in your back, and then they spray you with this water to check if it's working. Like they're like, did you feel this, did you feel that on your back, can you feel this? And it basically tells you whether, it basically shows whether it's actually working or not. And so it was like 6, it felt like 4 or 5 injections in your back, or 4 or 5 things that went into the back of you. Very, very weird and strange feeling. But then I just remember my whole belly going numb, so I didn't really feel any more contractions, and that was the whole point. I thought I wasn't supposed to feel my legs, but apparently I'm supposed to feel my legs still. So my belly went numb, and I just stopped getting contractions, which was kind of good. And I didn't feel, well, I was getting contractions, but I couldn't feel them, and so she was still timing the contractions or whatever. And then they had to check if I was dilated again, and I wasn't as much pain. This was still painful, but I wasn't in as much pain because of the epidural. So she checked if I was dilated, and I was like 6 centimeters dilated. And yeah, and so I think I had to wait till I was about 10. Anyway, during this time they were trying to find the baby's heartbeats, but apparently they were one on top of the other. And then I also had a temperature, which they couldn't get down. So I had a temperature, and they couldn't find the baby's heartbeats because one baby was on top of the other. So they didn't want to take a risk, and I was like, I really wanted to go into labour. I really wanted to try and have a natural birth. I wanted to at least try and push and see what that sensation was like, and then obviously if I couldn't do it, then they could be like, okay, we're gonna have to do a C-section, blah blah blah. But I was like, I really want to try, and I was in so much pain throughout the whole process. I was like, you guys haven't even given me a chance to try it. Wait, I think I'm skipping it. They said I had to have a C-section basically, and I was like, that's not fair. You guys didn't even give me a chance to try, like just try and push and try and do it myself. And I was just crying to my mum and my partner, like they didn't even give me a chance. I want to try and have a natural birth. And I was like, can I not try? And then the doctor was like, oh, you're going to put your babies at risk if we don't do a C-section now. They're going to end up either having cerebral palsy, or they're going to end up being brain damaged. And I felt like the whole hospital experience was full of like ultimatums, like if you don't do this, your baby's going to have that. And I had it throughout my whole hospital experience, but I'll get into that later. So he basically threatened me, saying that if you don't do it, they're going to have brain damage or cerebral palsy, and I'm not going to risk them obviously getting any sort of condition that they didn't need to have in the first place. So I'm not going to be like, no, I'm going to still try, am I? Do you know what I mean? So I'm also going to be like, okay, cool, let's just do the C-section. And so I was like having to prepare for the C-section that I didn't want. And then the doctor was like to my partner, my mum, like, who wants to go in with her, you or him? And my partner was like, he wants to go in with me. So it was me and my partner, we went in together. And so I was taken to theatre, which was all very, very scary. And then I don't know what they did in theatre. They did some more injections or something, but this time my whole legs went numb, and I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel the lower half of my body, which was just the strangest feeling. Like I couldn't feel a thing. And then basically they started cutting me up. I couldn't feel it. You could just feel the pulling. You could just feel someone pulling at you. It was such a weird sensation. So I could feel them tugging at me, pulling at me. So I think they were just cutting me open at this point. And then yeah, my partner was behind me the whole time. Like he was just there, like holding my hand and not being the amazing boyfriend that he is, and baby daddy that he is. Suddenly I heard like it sounded like a cat, and it was this little one. It was Isaiah. So Isaiah came out first. So he's the oldest. He came out at 4:30 a.m. and then 3 minutes later I heard another little wail, and it was Caden, and he came out next. And then I think they gave them to my partner. My partner had to go over, and he had to cut the umbilical cord, or he had to do something, but he cut something, but I thought the umbilical cord was attached to you, so it wouldn't if he had to go around. But anyway, so he had to cut something, and then I saw my placentas go off as well. I was looking, I just saw the placentas go to the table, which was like carried in some big massive jar, I mean big massive tub. So yeah, the placentas were carried to the table, and I couldn't see my babies for ages. I just remember that. And then the doctor said I lost 1.5 litres of blood, and then they were like, we're gonna have to do a blood transfusion. And I was like, I think my partner was like, does she have to do a blood transfusion? Could she not do, I don't know what we were basically saying, like trying to obviously look for alternatives, because I was thinking I don't want someone's blood in me, like I'm not familiar with blood transfusions. And then yeah, they were like, oh, if you don't do a blood transfusion, blah blah blah. And so yeah, I had to have a blood transfusion, which is just gross, but I think it's quite common. I think loads of people have to have it. And so yeah, I had a blood transfusion, and then once that was all done and finished with, we were rushed to the maternity ward, and then I had my babies with me. So yeah, that was my labour and delivery story. Sorry guys that it was so rushed. I just didn't want anyone to wake up in labour. Then when I was in labour, because I can't remember what she said, but she said that I had to have this catheter put in so that I can pee through this catheter, and this will help me be able to have a labour delivery. She goes, if you don't have this, you'll most likely have a C-section, so you have to have this done. And it was basically a tub attached to the side of me, and that's where all my pee would go. So for the next 2-3 days, whenever I peed, which I couldn't feel, it would go into this little box. It was so weird. So basically it would pee for me, so I wouldn't feel myself peeing because I was still numb on the bottom. And so like for the next 3 days I was just bleeding heavily. And also I had this thing, which I didn't expect to, because I thought that if I was having a C-section and I was all stitched up, I thought that didn't, I was thinking, so why am I still bleeding out my uterus? But I don't get it. But yeah, I was just bleeding, and then all the wee was just going into this little box that I had to carry around with me. It was just the weirdest thing, but I was always in bed anyway. After my C-section, I couldn't move. I was really numb, and then after the numbness went away, I was in a lot of pain down below. I couldn't like get up, like sit up properly, so I had to like help me get up. When I was carrying my babies, I had to carry them a certain way because I couldn't have them on my belly because it was really stingy and it was really painful. If I need to put my babies down, I need to ask someone to help me put them down because I couldn't put them down myself. Like, I was very weak and I was in a lot of pain. They're 2 weeks today and I've healed quite nicely. I still got the plasters on, but I took the original dressing off, and they also put this plastic tube in you. I don't know, but the midwife came to my house and she took that plastic tube out, so it helped me be able to bend more. And so I feel a lot more active now with my C-section 2 weeks on, but I can still feel the pain. I still take codeine for it. On the second day they gave me codeine, or the first day, because they were born in the morning. So on the Saturday they gave me codeine, and it also gave me something else, some other drug. I can't remember which one it was, but I was so high. I was talking to the medical staff like blah, 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 yeah, and I was like completely out of it. And I called my partner, I was like, how are you, where are you? Like I was so like drugged. Like they gave me like 6 different drugs within like 2 hours, because I kept on saying I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. And they gave me like 6 drugs, and I was like so gone. I was like, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. That's exactly how I was acting. And I remember when I've had like too much to drink, if I'm drunk, I remember how I acted. So yeah, I remember how I was acting when I had those drugs, but gosh, it was a lot. But yeah guys, that was my labour and delivery story. Okay guys, so my battery died, and I just did some expressing. I waited for it to charge up. We've got about half an hour before these little ones wake up, so I've not finished expressing. I've still got a bit more to do, but I really wanted to get this video finished. Oh, my time is so limited. Also, sorry if I spoke really fast in this video. I am on a timer, so I didn't want them to wake up. I wanted enough time to express and do little things before they wake up. They sleep for about 3 hours, and then they both wake up like clockwork now, which is quite good. So yeah, I was at the hospital at 10 o'clock. The whole procedure, like putting the pessary in, didn't start till 1 p.m. and I gave birth at 4:30 p.m. so it was like a 14-15 hour procedure once I was induced. So I don't think it was like a very quick, simple, quick, easy thing. It wasn't. The induction process takes a long time. It can take up to 3 days. They said I could be there until Sunday, although I was there for a bit longer. If I was to have a normal labour, like if I didn't put me in for a C-section, it probably would have taken about 24 hours. I reckon like a whole day I probably would have taken, because I was 6 centimeters dilated before they decided to put me in to have an emergency C-section. So I reckon I would have probably had another 6 hours of like waiting for my vagina to dilate, I guess, before I had them. So yeah, it was quite quick. If I just had a C-section, that was a very quick procedure. I was gone for about an hour or 2. I can't really make sense of time, guys, because most of the time I was drugged up all in the days. But the C-section, if you're booked in for a C-section, it's a very quick procedure. You right, Papa? Whereas labor I think is very long. So yeah, that was my whole deal. And then I had a temperature for about 4 days, so I had to stay in hospital for another 4 nights with them, which was really upsetting. Every day I had a temperature, so they thought I may have an infection. And then finally my temperature went down, I didn't have one anymore, so they just sent me off with all these antibiotics and these codeine tablets to help with my C-section. But as the days go on, the C-section has gotten better, so I do feel a lot better in myself. And yeah, I've just been tired, adjusting to life with newborn twin boys. They have been a handful when they're sleeping. It's amazing, it's so angelic, it's lovely. But when they're up, they are screaming, crying. You got to change their nappy, then you got to feed them their nighty meals, then you got to change their nappy, and in between their nighty meals, I don't want to have it all in one go, so it'll be like 3 times. You'll feed them like 30 meals, but then feed them another 30 meals, but then they may not want the last 30 meals. You have to check and see. Then you have to check their nappy. They're screaming, crying. You check their nappy. They act like it's the worst thing in the whole entire world. This one will be on you once you're changing his nappy. When you put a clean nappy on, he'll piss up to the top of the ceiling and in your face and on your sheets. Oh, it's a nightmare. But and then what else do they do? Yes, they need their burping, feeding, changing their nappy, a little bit of playtime, like trying to like console them, and then they go back to sleep. So yeah, so then they sleep for like 3 hours, but they're up for about, let's say, an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then they're up again, and then they sleep for like 3 hours and they're up again. And yeah, so I am exhausted. So but they're the greatest blessings of my life. I look at them and I smile and I can't believe they're real. And if you have twins, you know that you'd need someone else with you, whether it's your partner, your mum, your dad, your sister, your brother, your friend. You need someone else with you. You can't do it alone, because one will wake up and then one will sleep, and then one will sleep, and then one will wake up, and then you might not get a break at all if they don't have their feeds at the same time. Right now these two are synchronized, so I quickly put on makeup and I quickly brushed his hair a little bit and got ready and started filming. But they normally don't eat and sleep at the same time, so I'm very lucky, and I think they're kind of waking up now. But yeah, they're 2 weeks today, so that's amazing. And yeah, Caden, Isaiah, and that's about it, guys. It's a very quick video. Sorry I spoke so fast. I just kept thinking they were going to wake up or my battery's going to die, and I need to do a lot of stuff before they wake up. I've got about 30 minutes before they're supposed to kind of wake up, so I want to just do a bit more expressing, and I want to prepare them some milk just in case I don't get this expressing done in time. I will talk to you guys about my breastfeeding experience. It hasn't been great. And I will also talk to you guys about my weight loss experience. Also, guys, I was very constipated after my C-section and having the catheter, so I didn't go toilet for about a week, and so I was so constipated. I've never been constipated before, or maybe I've been once before in my life, but never normally. And I had to have prune juice, which I never had before. Then I remember my TEAMIBLENDs, which I have. I had the TEAMI colon, if you guys are familiar, that's one I had, and then it helped me like flush it out again and again, because your stools are very, very hard after a C-section if you have a catheter. So bear that in mind. After you have a C-section, try and have some of those kind of herbal teas that help flush out those toxins out of your system, because it's very, very helpful. It's all natural, and it helps make your poo a lot smoother, because your stools are very hard and thick and very TMI, sorry guys, but I gotta let you guys know. But yeah, guys, I will hopefully be back with another video very, very soon. These little ones just honestly take up all my time, so it's been very hard to film, but it has been on my mind every single day that I need to film and update you lot and let you know how it is. But I'm good, I'm happy, I'm just very, very tired. And yeah, I'm just very, very tired all the time. That is my labour and delivery story. I was induced and then I had an emergency C-section. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. As I said, it was 14 hours, but it was a big blur, so that's why it probably sounded like it was a very quick procedure, but it wasn't. And yeah, the C-section pain, you don't feel anything whilst it's all being done, so you don't feel nothing throughout the whole procedure. It's only once all the drugs have worn off and the epidural is worn off, you start to feel everything, and then you start begging the doctors for drugs. And I think that's why I had my that's why I had that 6 drugs in a space of an hour or 2, but I don't know why they gave me 6 drugs. They should have just given me 1 or 2 at a time. I think that's quite dangerous. But yeah guys, I am a mess, hot mess express. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will hopefully be back soon. I will film as soon as I can. I've got loads more videos I want to film. I am going to change my shirt because I've got spit all over me, like not spit but milk all over me, mum life. And yeah, that's about it guys. And yeah, that's about it guys. I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.